Welcome back, Summer Classic fans, to another year of Coeur d'Alene Summer Classic Softball, 2026 style. But before we take the field, each week we do a little ranking video of what happened last year. And last year we had an incredible amount of teams. We had 90 teams participate in last year's Summer Classic. That is the most we've ever had, topping the 84 we had back in 2020. With the amount of teams we had, the rankings we'll do a little background on each team, how they did in the tournament, and we'll also show what they did, how they were ranked the year before, as most of them had played. But there was a lot of new teams. So a lot of the teams, your rankings, you got to keep in mind, there was about 30 new teams that decided to play this year. So that may affect your rankings compared to one year to the others. So I'm glad everyone's back. Each week we'll be releasing 10 teams, a 10-team breakdown of each of their rankings. So let's get started to look at last year's look back of the team ranking. My friends, each year we've got to start somewhere. And we start at number 90, the 86ers. This is their first time that they ever played. They are out of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. They are the Clean and Sober, Coeur d'Alene's first Clean and Sober team, managed by Damian Montoya. This is their first time in the tournament. In fact, this is the first time they had played as a team all summer, though they had practiced. They played out of Group V, where they went 0-3. They played the Raptors from Spokane, where they lost 20-0. Then they played Team Be Better, which a team we'll talk about quite a bit later on, from Alaska, lost 14-0. Then they played Team No Glove, No Love, a tournament team that's in there quite a bit, from Spokane. They lost to them 20-0. That put them in the aluminum division, and they went up against the CdA Blue Sox, where they lost 22-0 in the first round. But they did get the sportsmanship award, so that was good to see them. And they just a great bunch of people. We're really happy to have them out there for the. Okay, we move on to number 89, and 89 is another first-year team, the FRB Res Stars, out of Flathead, Montana, led by Zeke Webster Yaki, if I pronounced that right, hopefully. They played out of Group R, and they were 0-3, where they played the Diamond Daddies, first-year team as well. They lost 23-1. They played Little Riot from Coeur d'Alene, which they lost 17-2, and they lost to Stacy Stevens' team from Coeur d'Alene, Bat-Around, 13-8. That put them in the aluminum bracket for their first year, and this is a team, we've already talked about them once already, Team Be Better. They played the team from Alaska. This is their fifth year that they've been playing, and Team Be Better came to play. They lost to them 20-1 in the first round. But the FRB Res, I heard nothing but good things about them as far as their competitiveness and their spirit. So we're very glad to have them aboard, and hopefully we'll see them again next year. Number 89. Okay, our third first-year team is number 88, Scared Hitless from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. They were led by Sierra Harding. Like I said, this is their first year playing, but this group, a lot of these guys have played in the Summer Classic a lot. They've also played in Coeur d'Alene rec ball quite a bit. So this is a team very familiar to the Coeur d'Alene community and stuff. So first time assembled together as a team. They played out of Group T, where they went 0-3. They took on Sweet Spot, another Coeur d'Alene team that's been playing in the tournament for a really long time. They lost to them 19-9 on Friday night. Then they played the Sunday Sinners, a team from Spokane, which ended up having a really good run in this tournament. They lost to them 16-6, and they played the 208 Outlaws, a team from Kamei. This is their third year being in the tournament, so they lost to them 15-5. That put them in the aluminum bracket, where they took on Wish You Were Beer from Spokane. This is Travis Adams' team, and what a great game this was. It ended up being in the first round 28-23 to knock Scared Hitless out of the tournament. But a good first showing for Scared Hitless at Number 87 checks in with Showtime Northwest. This is a team that has played in the tournament before. They are led by Travis Mendy from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. This team, Travis, has been playing softball for a really long time in Coeur d'Alene. And this is his fourth tournament that he was in, but though he's played in other Summer Classics before. Last year they were ranked 58th. They played out of Group P, where they went 0-3. They took on the Ballaholics from Coeur d'Alene, and they lost to them 13-2 on Friday night's action. Then a good defensive game against Day Drunk 2.0, the former Team Day Drunk team. They lost to them 6-4, and then they fell to the Master Batters out of Spokane 10-2. Master Batters were a first-year team. That put them in the aluminum division, where they took on the Raptors, and the Raptors got their first Sunday win, beating them 23-16. Travis Mendy's team, 87th, kind of lower than they did the year before, but we're always happy to have Travis. Okay, we chitty chatted about this team a little bit. Number 86, Wish You Were Beer. We just talked about them a little bit with the Scared Hitless team, led by Travis Smith out of Spokane, Washington. Wish You Were Beer has played in this tournament a few times before. This is their third tournament appearance, and last year they were ranked 72nd, playing out of the aluminum bracket last year. This year they played out of Group S for group play. They took on Real Life Church as the first Real Life's first year playing in the tournament out of Coeur d'Alene. Real Life beat them 16-6. They played those guys, a team who's been in the tournament 14 years out of Missoula. They lost to them 15-3. And then they lost to Sage Creek, a team that's played in the tournament 9 years. They lost to them 13-8. Sage Creek, also a Coeur d'Alene team. That put them in the aluminum bracket where we talked about a little earlier. They took on a Scared Hitless team in the first round and in a slugfest was able to outlast Scared Hitless 28-3. Then they played Team Be Better. We've talked about this team already and lost 15-4. So hopefully we see Travis's team again. Number 86, Wish You Were Beer. Counting them down to number 85. It's Sage Creek, a team from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. This team is run by Melissa Brandon. They play on Wednesday nights in Coeur d'Alene. This is their 9th tournament appearance. So Sage Creek, and they've taken home some hardware before. They've won the aluminum division before, and they came in second place one year as well. They played out of Group S this last year, though. Oh, and they were ranked 66th the year before. So 85th this year, 66th the year before. They took on Quit Your Pitchin' out of Group S. They lost to them 18-13 on a game out of Plants Ferry early Saturday morning. Then they played Wish You Were Beer, where they won that game 13-8. And then they took on the B-Town Heroes back in Coeur d'Alene Saturday night and lost to them 26-12. That put them in the aluminum bracket where they took on those guys, a team out of Missoula ran by Ashley Nichols' team. This team, talked a little bit earlier, they've been in the league for 14 years in the tourney. Those guys came out with a big lead and were able to hold on 15-14. So number 85, Sage zipped right into number 84 there. And 84 is Fam Damley. This is another first-year team ran by Austin Bauman. They were playing out of Spokane, Washington. So I didn't get a chance to meet this team out there, but I imagine it's some kind of family team, maybe perhaps by the name of the team. They played out of Group E for their first time ever out in the tournament, where they took on Swing and a Prayer out of Spokane, a team who hadn't played in the tournament for several years, and they lost to them 16-12. Then they came back to beat the Coeur d'Alene Blue Sox from Coeur d'Alene. They were able to take them out 11-9, and then fell to Perfection Tire, a new team from Coeur d'Alene, 13-0. Perfection had a pretty good tourney run. We'll talk about them a little later. In the aluminum, that put them in the aluminum bracket. Where in the first round, they took on No Glove, No Love. And No Glove, No Love was able to outlast them 14-12. But still, for a first-year team, a really good showing for Fam Damley, number 84 in last year's Summer Classic. All right, we got number 83. And 83, I know this team. This is the Coeur d'Alene Blue Sox playing out of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. This is one of the teams that I helped put together during the rec league. We've played, this is our 5th year in the tournament all playing together. Last year, they were ranked 63rd and were the defending aluminum division champions. So this year, we played out of Group E, where we took on Perfection Tire in a really good game Friday night, where the Blue Sox fell 13-11. Then we talked about playing Fam Damley, another really close game, fell to them 11-9, and then took on Swing and a Prayer, a team that used to be called BAM, and this is their first time playing in 5 years, and fell to them 13-7. That put them in the aluminum bracket where they took on the 86ers, the clean and sober team we talked about at the top of this little video, and were able to get past them 22-0, and then in a very tight defensive pitching battle in the quarterfinals, lost to Master Batters 8-6 to knock them out. So that's the Blue Sox. Fallen to 83 in the... Okay, number 82, a team we just talked about a little bit on some of the recaps. Swing and a Prayer. They used to be called BAM back in the day. Ran by Levon Sherber out of Spokane, Washington. They played last in 2018. That was their only appearance. They were ranked 44th. They made it to the semifinals of the aluminum bracket back then. They played out of Group E this time where they took on Fam Damley. We've talked about Fam Damley a little bit. They were able to beat them 16-12. Then they lost to Perfection Tire, who had a pretty good tournament. We'll talk about them a little later. They lost to them 15-0. And then, as mentioned before in the previous little installation there, they beat the Coeur d'Alene Blue Sox 13-7. Okay, that put Levon and friends into the aluminum bracket. A very stacked aluminum bracket, by the way. There were 16 teams in that bracket this year, so the most we've ever had in that bracket. They played Bat-Around, Stacy Stevenson's team, in a really good game. Fell to them 13-12 to knock them out. But we'll see if Swing and a Prayer comes back this year, or they take another 5-year hiatus. Okay, this is a team that's played in our tournament before. Number 81, Quit Your Pitchin'. Um, this is Lisa Chapman's team. They play out of the Whitefish Kalispell area, and this is their fourth tournament appearance. The last year they were ranked 71st. Now keep in mind there were only 74 teams last year, so they were ranked 71st. This year 81st. So they played out of Group S, where they actually played pretty well. They played those guys, the team from Missoula, and they tied them 13-13 in some Saturday morning battle. And then they took on Sage Creek, where they were able to beat them 18-13. And then they took on Real Life Church from Coeur d'Alene. Real Life Church had a really good tournament for their first year. They Quit Your Pitch and fell to them 4-14. That put them in the aluminum bracket, where they had a first round matchup against Master Batters out of Spokane. And this is another slugfest. 23-22 first round action in the aluminum bracket. Unfortunately, that went to the Master Batters' way. So number 81, Quit. Okay, number 80, and we've mentioned this team several times. It's those guys, and they are from Missoula, Montana. Ashley Knuckles' team. Coming back again. This is their 14th year playing in the tournament. One of just a handful of teams to play so many. Last year they were ranked 67th. They played out of Group S, where they went 1-1-1. They took on Quit Your Pitchin', in which they tied them 13-13. Then they took on Wish You Were Beer, the team from Spokane, Travis Adams' team, where they were able to beat them 15-3. And then there's that Real Life team again. People had some trouble with Real Life on Friday and Saturday. Real Life was able to beat them 19-2. That put those guys in the aluminum division, looking for to make another trophy run. It's been a while since those guys have taken home some hardware. They played out of the aluminum division. They beat Sage Creek. They outlasted them 15-14, and then they took on the Raptors. And the Raptors had a good Sunday. They lost to them 25-14. So that wraps up number 80. Those guys. That wraps up our countdown for this week. Next week we'll look at teams number 79 through 70. As each week we will release these videos until we get to the 2026 Summer Classic time here in Coeur d'Alene. Thanks, everybody.